Who would we consult with and report to in case of an incident or emergency? So basically, again, understanding who's responsible for what in your organisation, it's helpful to know who your line manager is. So when something goes wrong or there's an incident, you want to report it to your immediate line manager, and if they're not available, or you also, if you have a WHS officer, that incident report you just filled in would go to the line manager but also to the WHS officer. So if you're not sure, and you're not sure if there's a WH officer, your immediate line manager, whoever's your most immediate person. Now, if it's a real emergency, obviously, somebody's injured, you'd be calling emergency services. So we'll go through that. But definitely your line manager and the WHS officer, if there is one. The next question deals with you thinking about the hazards that were identified in the studio and explaining what personal protective equipment could be used. So if you're not sure, refer back to the hazards that were identified right at the beginning. What kind of protective equipment could possibly be used for the noise? Okay, so think about protective care. There's not a lot that's necessary in a design studio, but certainly the covered shoes and perhaps ear protection for the noise we've identified. And how are they helpful? So again, if you're not sure how to answer that, have a look at the student workbook, and it also does have a list, it gave you that list of personal protective equipment down here. And if you go to the link on there, you'll actually see a much more involved diagrams of what kind of equipment. So there's the one for personal protective equipment. Just go there, just zoomed up a bit so you can see it. Oop. Oh wait, what's that? So lots of safety signs identified, but also personal protective equipment. So that chart gives you a good list of them. So if you're dealing with glues or substances that are a bit tricky, you might have the glove sign up. If there's any machinery, so you could pick one of those that you're working with. Certainly if the spray adhesive thing is around, you could be a mask that you have to wear or anything like that. Covered shoes, there's a symbol for that, so that's probably one that would be used in a design studio. So you just answer that to your best ability. 3 pieces of protective equipment, refer to the student workbook or to the link to the chart that shows more. Now we're on to responding to an emergency procedure, so that's task 4. So we've got another scenario. You're working in a design studio when a large box of art materials stored on a high shelf falls on an employee's head. The result of this causes the employee to become unconscious and requires emergency medical attention. What procedures would you follow for responding to this incident and emergency? And have you heard of the DRSABCD action plan?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've heard of it? Good.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Can you remember? All right, I'll...
No, hand.
Yeah, I know.
So
It's a bit of a mouthful. I've got it written here somewhere, just so you could refer to it. I don't know that it's in the workbook. Okay, I've got it up on screen there, so that'll help you.
Yeah.
Danger, there's a danger. There's a response. What's your response?
Seeing if you can communicate with the person they're conscious, and as well for calling out for everything.
Yeah, clear any, like if you saw another box was going to fall, you know, there might be other people there, you try and clear them very quickly out of the room. You try and check, but the immediate first thing you really should do is call 000 to get instructions. So the send for help is important because although you might call 000, nobody else in the building knows, and you can't leave the person unattended. So if there's other staff around, you should be getting one of them to go and inform the WHS person, your immediate boss, your line manager again. Someone should be telling someone within the organisation. In the meantime, you hopefully get onto 000 straight away, and they're going to instruct you to try and make sure their airway is cleared. Is the person breathing? They would talk you through doing CPR if there's no breathing happening. And if there is a defibrillator, they would be talking you through how to use it. Defibrillators, there's one on campus here. They talk to you. They tell you what to do. So you don't even need to be an expert. The actual defibrillators now, they actually talk you through it. But there's usually people, like on TAFE, there's people who are trained, all the security staff are trained on using them. But a lot of workplaces now will have these, and you do not have to be an expert. A voice comes on from the defib, and it actually talks you through it. Your best port of call is to listen to the instructions of the 000 person. As you can see, emergency plans. Guys, I'm recording. I'm recording, yeah. So your best bet is to call, but then after the incident, you'd have to report it. Who would you report it to? Your WHS person, and also Safe Work. Yeah, and there's the number for Safe Work there. But here are some of the things that an emergency plan would have. The idea is that you remain calm, that if it's possible to move people to a safe location, you do. If it's possible to provide first aid, you do, but you know, you're not qualified, you don't know what to do, you can at least check the airway. If you've got a first aid certificate, you might know a little bit more, but you should be taking your instructions from the 000. Particularly if somebody's got a spinal injury, you don't want to be rolling them over and, you know, doing stuff that might make it worse. Convey accurate, you know, communicate, you know, you try to see if they're conscious and can talk to you. You try to tell accurate information to the 000 caller, and then probably afterwards you're going to document the whole thing, say what's happened. Yeah. So details and understanding what's happening, when it happened. You know, because we have our phones with us, it's pretty easy to just record the date and the time, you know, who it was, location, and, you know, a general description. You can put that all into your phone very quickly. So, but the main thing is to concentrate on the person being okay. So that should help you answer that. And then the next question is, how would you report it? Who would you report it to? So we know it's the WHS officer, it's your immediate boss, but it's also Safe Work. If it's a serious incident, it's got to go to Safe Work. I mean, in TAFE we have a hotline. It goes straight. We have a work health and safety hotline it goes to. So it depends on the workplace, but even if you're not told anything else, there's nothing to stop you from directly contacting WorkSafe if there's been an incident, serious incident. And then afterwards, you're going to be filling one of these in. So go ahead, same thing, just you can kind of, you can use Marcus again, or just make up a name, what happened to them, and they didn't give us a name in here, but you can just fill that in to your best of ability. Again, you know, say they're in the art department, use that organisational chart. You could pick someone off the chart to be the one that's injured, if you like. Just pick one of your colleagues on there, on one of the lines, and say they got injured. The box fell on their head. Who do you report it to? Well, one of the line managers, and then the WH officer, Stuart Purcell, and then Safe Work. Those are your answers. What happened to them? Again, you describe what happened and who you are. So fill that in. Then the next thing you're going to do in this is we'll probably stop and we'll go a little bit of a walkabout because you've actually got to go out. You can go together, the two of you, and just figure out what is the evacuation plan, what are you supposed to do. There is evacuation plan pinned up out there, so you can go and take a photo of it, see what it says, and then come back and fill this in. Put the photo of the evacuation plan in there, so you understand where you've got to go. And then there's another one. So what are the steps for responding? Say the alarm goes off, what are you supposed to do? Yeah? Do you run around? Do you keep asking if it's an emergency? What are you supposed to do? Now we've had some run-throughs here, some practices. So if you hear an alarm, you're supposed to get up and leave and go to the evacuation point, and then follow the instructions you're given by, in the first case it would be me. I'd be, so anyone above you, like a teacher, is giving you instructions to leave. But then there's also the fire warden who would be out there telling you when it's safe to go back in. So then you're going to walk around and do a little inspection with this. So, one of you could just access this on your phone if you like to have a look at it. And you're going to go and check the details on the extinguishers. So you've got to go on a little treasure hunt to find the fire extinguishers and check all these details, all right? And an emergency drill, has it been carried out? Yes. Was anybody here for that? You guys here? You might have missed it or you might have been here, but you know the answer to that. So have a look and see if you can find the fire warden kit. And then the next one is the lockdown procedure. So were you guys here for the drill for that? No? So one person was. You can talk to each other, yeah? You can tell Jasmine about the lockdown, what you had to do. Do you remember?
The alarm.
The evacuation, you've done a fire. The lockdown's a bit different. So with the lockdown, you do not leave the room. The door gets barricaded. If there's a window on it like that, it gets covered, and you can see go over and have a look at the example there. You can take a photo of that. It's got instructions to cover the window. And then you have to turn off your phones. At least, make them go to sleep so they're not visible. And the same with the computers. And you have to pull down the blinds, and then you have to make yourself not visible from any door, so you duck under the least visible area in the classroom. Yeah, probably on that side. And you go and then you wait until you get the all clear. Yep. And you wait for instructions. And, we've done this practice.
So we need to be doing this in the following terms?
Sorry? Oh, they're randomly done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at least once every 6 months there's a practice drill. It just depends if you happen to be here on the day when they do it. And you have to be very quiet, like there's no talking.
Yeah.
So when we do the practice, we take it very seriously, and if it's possible, we also barricade the door, because it's easy for someone to push through the door, so we actually move the furniture and put something in front of the door as well. So those are the things you have to record, and you need to go around and find the lockdown procedure chart. So you can see there's an evacuation diagram. There should be a lockdown procedure thing. If it's not in this room, you can run around and you'll find one. They're around. If they're not in this room, they'll be in one of the rooms. Take a photo of it and put it in here. And then list the steps. I've just told you them. List what the things you have to do, yeah? Okay, and then that's the end. This part here is for me. I'm observing you doing all these things, so you don't need to worry about that. And then you just save this. Preferably put your initials in front. And yeah, so you've got to just run around and do these and do the evacuation, then you're done. Yeah?